Because I was unable to give you guys a Semen Retention Sunday episode last Sunday, I'm now going to give it to you today because this is going to be a really important topic that, while on the surface, it is very plain and, in fact, it might be even vain to discuss to some people. I'm going to give you a new insight and a new spiritual version with a lot of spiritual nuggets in this, where you can identify what is actually going on when it comes to semen retention and looksmaxing. Now, I am not necessarily of the proponent that looking your best is a bad thing. I think that looking your best is a good thing. One ought to take care of themselves and their body and their soul and their spirit, because ultimately clarity of mind is not just a factor of strategic advantage. It's actually biological advantage, and it's spiritual fulfillment to the highest degree. That's what clarity can bring you. And by taking care of yourself, by treating yourself with respect and really trying to ensure that you are groomed correctly and properly, and you are wearing clothes that fit you, that are not too loose and not too tight. This is basic things that, of course, everybody ought to be aware of. But the reason why people apparently, I'm not saying that I'm a proponent of this, but I've seen that semen retention and looksmaxing is apparently going hand in hand now. A lot of people are thinking and claiming that semen retention will give you this sense of satisfaction on your looks, and it will give you a sense of, you'll automatically glow up. And the thing is that yes, but looking at it from that vantage point is going to deter you from the real spiritual benefit of what's actually going on. Yes, people will look at you. Yes, people will watch you. Yes, people will stare at you. Yes, people will feel your energy a little bit differently. And yes, I do think that spiritual insight, the greatest spiritual insight with semen retention, is that it is among the highest tools, spiritually speaking, that you can have in your arsenal to really have that sense of individuation when it comes to your consciousness. Now, you guys might have heard of this guy. It rhymes with particular. This guy, I'm not going to even say his name, but apparently he's talking about not necessarily semen retention, but smashing a hammer to his jaw bones and all that to increase the jawline. He's wearing shoulder pads to get defined shoulders. And he's wearing a little bit of eyeliner, even though it might be, he's like, maybe dudes might call it gay or whatever, but I don't give a crap because I'm going to look way better than you. Now look, Johnny Depp, when he had the eyeliner for Pirates of the Caribbean, that made sense, right? It made sense for that character, but that's all it was. It was a character. Now, if you want to be a character, like, look, if you wanna promote yourself as a looksmaxer, there's nothing wrong with that. Is it vain? I think, yeah, I think it's pretty vain. And is it gonna inspire people to really come to the higher plane of consciousness? No, not at all. In fact, this is exactly what Nietzsche has warned society about very frequently. In fact, Nietzsche often warned that the society that is hyper into sensuality is going to really become its own proponent of sensuality, and the thing that is going to be lifted up is also going to be the thing that takes it down. And so we're seeing that here in the West right now. We're seeing day by day people lose themselves to wanting to look good, literally beating their skull with a hammer to try to make the bone structure come back stronger. here's a thing you could do instead of doing that. Really think about that for a second. That is this is psychopathic and sociopathic behavior. And unfortunately, this guy who rhymes with particular, and again, some of you may know who I'm talking about, some of you may not, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is that this is actually happening, and this person has a pretty significant following and is hanging out with Blandrew Fate and all these other bigger names, and these are the people that are controlling the youth, right? Now, on the one hand, I see that there's a lot of truth being told to what they're talking about and how they're saying, like, this guy is talking about how women will, like, he's revealing female nature by looksmaxing. That's what he's claiming to do. And yet this guy is also the same dude that is, he's talking about sleeping with multiple women in one day, and he's almost bragging about it, and it's his status symbol. And even all of these other social media influencers are now looking to this guy as a figure of the up and coming generation. And unfortunately, this guy, I believe, even though I don't really believe anything, I don't even like saying that word anymore. Okay, I think that based off of the facts that I currently have, and I don't have all the facts, of course, but all the facts that I do have and that I can verify, what the facts bear out about this guy is that he is so far down into the societal structures that he's become the mirror of the society. He's no longer himself. He is the mirror of who society wants him to be. And so he's not individuated at all in any sense. And this is a guy also who is reportedly kicking off women on their streams for finding out that they have boyfriends. Meanwhile, he's bragging about sleeping with multiple women in one day. So, it's all a show. Okay, it's all a show. And is this guy a psyop? I don't know. The fact that he's hanging around these big names so quickly and he's coming out of the gate so drastically, very strange to me. It's a weird sequence of events. And this is why we must adhere to the practice of semen retention now more than ever, so that we can discern these types of things. This is really the creme de la creme in which I want to get to in this video, is that many people are not following themselves. They're listening to anything but themselves. And semen retention allows you, there's a reason why the ancients practiced semen retention. There's a reason why the ancients were so focused and so dedicated on doing things that were pure and the things that would not hurt their spirit. Okay, because they knew that this was the case. They knew that this was the reality of the situation. Now, for those that are following astrology, and I'm not saying I'm an astrologist or anything of the sort, but the season of Aries is coming up in just the next day or so. And really what that means is that symbolically speaking, the soul of existence is taking its throat, clearing things up, and gonna move forward and begin new things. Now, what does that have to do with this? Well, it means that now is a good time, if you are really into looksmaxing, or if you're fortunate enough to not even be associated with this, thank goodness for you, man. Thank goodness for you, because this is just ridiculous at this point. This is absolutely ridiculous. The lengths that people will go to try to look good. I mean, the artificialness is insane. Okay, think about this with artificial intelligence, right? Because I've been using artificial intelligence for a long time. pretty much every day for the past 2 years on average. Now, I'm not using it for like creativity or outsourcing my thoughts or anything of the sort, but I'm using it for data reconfiguration and organization. And when I do this, and I also kind of use it as a search engine sometimes, but I don't always, I take it all with a grain of salt, right? What you're talking to when you talk to the artificial intelligence is actually intelligent, but the thing in which you're communicating with, that's artificial, right? It's like when you and I are looking at each other right here, right now, like I'm looking at you, right? Well, am I looking at you? Or are you looking at me, looking at a screen that happens to look like I'm looking at you? Now, does that mean I'm artificial? No, I am not an artificial intelligence. I'm a real intelligence. But intelligence in the sense of, like, people are confusing that which is regurgitating information with proper intelligence. Because you can regurgitate information all you want. It doesn't make you actually intelligent, right? It's like people that just memorize things and regurgitate things. That's whatever. Critical thought, on the other hand, is very challenging, very difficult. And so, on the flip side, you have intelligence, real intelligence, where you are not confusing memory with what is actually happening. You can actually formulate things. AI in like ChatGPT, Claude, the Maya Mia with Sesame, like they are actually, I think, intelligent. Now, the thing in which we're communicating with it, that's not intelligent. That's artificial. It's the same type of thing with the Looksmaxxers. What they're trying to do is intelligent, but how they're coming out about it is artificial. It's just producing more artificialness. And so there's actually good reason on why they're doing this, right? There's a good reason for it, but they're not doing it, like for good reasons though. Even though their heart might be, well, I'm giving them very generous, I'm giving the Looksmaxxers a very generous analysis here, but they might have their heart in the right place. However, they do not have their souls truly intact. And they are walking amputated souls, right? They're amputated, and they've amputated themselves. And it's a very sad sight. It's a very sad thing to see, but what is there to, like, what do you do? What do you do? Well, you start to get right with the soul of existence, God, source, whatever you want to call it, and you start to develop a relationship more with that, right? The thing. It's the more you develop an understanding and a self-respect and a self-compassion for you, the closer you get to the thing, that, right? And semen retention is a way to do this. You don't need to be so involved with looksmaxing. You don't need to be so involved with this. Yes, it's good to look good. Of course. Like I like to keep my beard as clean as possible. And one of the reasons that I used to have pretty long hair, right? People, the Regal Change old timers will know that I had hair like down to here, right? I had long hair. One of the reasons that I shaved it was just because of identity. Like I didn't want to be attached to my identity. And number two, it's just time for a change. And number three is, the hair is getting a little thinner, to be quite honest. It's still pretty thick, but it's getting thinner. And you know what? Like, I don't need to keep that long hair. I can grow it back probably, but I don't need to keep it. And people might say that, oh, well, semen retention, if your hair is thinning, well, that means you're not healthy. Okay, no, that's definitely not it. And we could go into that. I don't really want to go into that with this video, but the point is that think about like The Rock or Jason Statham or Bruce Willis, right? Like these guys were bald, and yet they were the most manly men, at least seemingly, the most manly men, right? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Jason Statham is. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. But that guy, he's a legit martial artist. Okay, he's a legit practitioner. He's a man's man through and through. I know that, but I'm not sure about The Rock. I mean, he's done some pretty weird stuff. And Bruce Willis, well, I mean, back in the day, I mean, have you ever seen Die Hard, man? Jeez Louise. You know, it's it's like these guys, yeah, they like there were manly men that went bald. And I'm not saying like I'm not trying to make an excuse here. I'm just saying that again, we need to look beyond the physical. We need to look beyond this because yes, the physiognomy is going to be important. Okay, the physiognomy of people is going to be important, but what's even more important is the message. It's not about the man. It's not about the woman. It's about what is the message being transmuted. Are you receiving the message, or are you too busy looking at the superficial to see what's deeper? You know, that's going to be the real question to answer, and that's going to be the real question to dissect as you move forward, because these characters, like the guy that rhymes with particular, this guy is unfortunately a person who is just so enveloped in the culture that he has lost himself. And it's sad to see like these young men that are like I see these young men. Just there's so many young men that are losing themselves, and yet at the same time there's so many young men that are finding who they are. And so it's both reassuring and kind of sad to see, because this is what the construct, the simulation that we're in, wants you to see. They want you to see young men fail. They want you to see young men be euthanized and demoralized and like all these crazy things, right? Like all the things they want you to see men fall. It's like what the Green Goblin says, right? Remember what the Green Goblin said? He said the only thing that the people love to see more than a hero is to see a hero fail, fall, die trying. Now, young men are generally, archetypally, they are absolutely the heroes of the civilization and the culture, because usually it's the young men who are having the enough energy to go to war or to make a stand or to do something, right? To be creative. They have the energy. And I'm not necessarily super young anymore, but I'm not really old either, at least biologically. Spiritually, man, I feel like a teenager, you know. I feel like a teenager, and maybe I'm always going to feel that way. I don't know. But I haven't lost that inner child like wonder at all. And I, on semen retention, enjoy my life more so than ever. I mean, I don't even think about temptations anymore. Like, yeah, it's okay, there's going to be temptations. Okay. But it's not like it's, it's so much. Like, yeah, it's okay. It's tempting. Like, if I see a really attractive woman, right, and I'm just like if there's a part of me that's just like, man, I want to ride that caboose, man. I want to ride that caboose. It's just there. It's just a thought. It's not like something that I'm attached to anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, that would be nice. All right, well, you know, so going back to quantum physics, like it's just for me, like it's just it's really not a big deal anymore. Like it's like, oh yeah, I'd like that. Maybe, I don't know. Because sometimes you look at women and you just think to yourself like, oh, good golly, you know, golly, you just look a woman's way, or you can feel her looking at you, and you're just like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Do you want to say something, or are you just trying to, like, you know, irritate me or annoy me? Or because the thing is that women, when they genuinely like you, they will annoy you a lot. They will try, like, maybe you don't even really like her that much, but you'll be annoyed by her. And it's not anything personal. It's just, I guess it kind of is personal, but it's not at the same time. It's just that we've seen too much, right? Like, we don't need to looksmax for these women because we know that these women have been with so many other people, right? Like, we just, we don't need to scratch our heads anymore and be like, should I or should I not? Like, we just know that, like, okay, yeah, she's probably been a town bicycle at one point or another, because they all have at this point. I'm damn sure of it. Like, most, I would say a good solid 90% of women have been around the block and the town bicycle at some point. It just is the way that it is now. Like, that's just the way that it is. Even the young women, like 18 to 19 years old, like, the things that I've heard, you wouldn't believe. But that's a story for another time. Well, maybe you'd believe it. I don't know. Again, I don't believe anything. I don't need to believe in anything anymore. I'm free from the need to believe, and thank the soul of existence for that. But anyways, I hope that this message was useful and insightful for you. I know that this past week has been a pretty challenging week, getting the channel for Regal Change back up and everything going on the YouTube channel again. I know that Google and the algorithms and such, Lord knows what exactly happens when you're consistent for like 3.5 years and then all of a sudden you go dark for 7 days. So I don't like to ask you guys to subscribe or anything, but go ahead and give a like and a comment. And if you do enjoy this, I guess subscribe. Yeah, sure, why not? But otherwise, I think people will subscribe if they want to. I think people will like it if they want to. I think people will comment if they want to. But especially right now, we need to pick up the momentum again. And so I'm pumping out videos. I have so many ideas. And I'm just ready to keep going, get back on the horse, and yeah, just go like we never left, right? So with all that being said, I hope that this message was useful and insightful for you. Stay blessed. Peace. Until next time.